Hello, it's Blockchain here coming at you with another technical analysis update. For those of you just tuning in, I'm primarily an Elliott Wave trader using other areas of Confluence and other technical analysis to really complement my price analysis. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the charts. Let's dive into some good old Bitcoin here. So again, I'm just going to do the 4 hour and the 15-minute. I'll try to go a little bit quicker on Bitcoin versus I did with ETH. Took up a little bit more time than I thought I was going to, but just going to do the 4 hour and the 15-minute. And fairly similar counts to what I was looking at for ETH. And overall, the wave structures of a couple of different things is what's going to determine if it's bull or if it's bear. So again, it's going to come down to if this is the end of the fifth wave or if this was the end of the fifth wave of the drop. Basically making the end of the fifth wave here, or if this came up for the fourth wave and then back down for the fifth for within this fifth wave here. So that's ultimately what it comes down to. If it ended here, then obviously this is a pretty clear 5-wave structure to come up for a 5-wave move. And then we also have a 5-wave move within the 3-wave right here, which is pretty clear. So we'd have our 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 5, which matches pretty well. And then let's go ahead and pull the fibs. See where that takes us. And right at the 1.618. So pretty common, pretty standard for a wave 3. However, what I'm somewhat skeptic on is this pullback right here. This pullback looks pretty impulsive. Now it could mean, one of two things, that either it could be potentially a zigzag, meaning that it's a 1, 2, or I'm sorry, an ABC for a 5, 3, 5, or a wave 1, and then coming back down for a wave 3. And we'll have to watch the wave formation as that plays out. But it will kind of come down to really where we're at right now, because ultimately that's what's going to somewhat decide. We'll take a look at the 15-minute. But for now, if this is a wave 3 coming in for a 3-wave structure and a wave 4, I would expect another move up for Bitcoin to put us right at about 11,435 to finish off that 5th wave target. Now we also have some pretty heavy resistance above us. We kind of somewhat did the same structure last time we were up here at about $10,000. We did a little, kind of head and shoulders, a little crown action, and then back down, kind of doing somewhat the similar thing right now. And this thing right here is really what I'm having a hard time getting past to make this overall 3-wave. The only option would be for it to be a zigzag to make this a 3-wave structure for a wave 4 to get up to the $11,400 target for a wave 5. Now, on the flip side, again, if we're going to be bearish here, let's take that off the table. This move right here then becomes a 3-wave structure. So basically have it like that. And then something like this here for a WXY. And again, making it 3 waves. So we'd have a 3-wave move within here. We again kind of 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 right here. And then this would give us a 5-wave move. I'm sorry, it would need to be another 3-wave move up for the Y. It would actually honestly be, I don't know if I necessarily like the symmetry of that one. So it might end up needing to be a WXYXZ that's within there. Because everything's all 3-wave moves, right? For a WXY. But this right here, I mean, it does look fairly 3-wave-ish. I would just have to go back in and try and make a 3-wave move out of this whole thing right here. So potentially a zigzag. Maybe this guy here to potentially make this a WXY within this. So that would be the other option. Let's see, let's go and pull a fib real quick. I could look at a smaller time frame as well. So there, I'm gonna put this roughly at the 1-to-1. This is kind of what I was looking at before. But it could also just simply be, this could be a B wave, right? For an A, B, and a C within this move right here. I'm just making this overall an ABC to complete this with a 5-wave structure at the end. That is an option as well. You know, this could be a complex correction for a B wave, making this a WXY within here. Again, it would be 3 waves within this, which would be boom, boom, and boom. And then we would have our 5-wave at the end. So it'd be ABC, WXY, somewhere within there. But this was the one that, you know, really does line up the best to get us at the 1-to-1 extension. Really kind of getting us back up towards a double top. And with this pullback here, again, I kind of mentioned before, it does look fairly impulsive to me. So if you pull a fib for if this, you know, could be potentially a wave 1, that would give us our downside targets, again, roughly back down towards 6,300 on the extreme. So it'll be a 1, 2, 3. Probably come back up, test that trend line, and then come back down for a 4th. So we broke the trend line on top. We've, you know, bounced off it a couple times, found it as resistance. Now if we come back down as, you know, potentially a wave 3, we would break it, come back up, test it, and then back down again for a 5th, which would, you know, make complete sense for that to take place. Okay, so we kind of have our two extremes. So ultimately, 11,400 or 6,300, and it's going to really come down to what kind of decision do we get up here in this zone, and if the structure right here is either a impulsive or a 3-wave structure to come back down, and then this could, you know, either be a C wave, where we come back down and we, you know, test the 1.236 right back down there at about 8K, making this a 3-wave move here for another 5-wave to get us back up towards that 11,500 for the bull count. So right here is what we want to pay attention to, but this does look like a 5-wave move here. So let's look at the 15-minute and see what that's telling us. All right, so you pull the fib. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 with a very extended 5th. Put us down here at the 5.618 for the extension of the 5th wave. But this, you know, I count 5 waves. It's hard to make a 3-wave structure out of this, which tells me that, you know, obviously it starts with 5 and needs to end with 5. And we would need another 5-wave move to the downside. Now, again, it could be an ABC structure to make it a 3. So basically something like this here. Where we come back, potentially double bottom, go a little bit lower, set a slightly lower low, and then kick off ultimately for a 5-wave or a 5th wave to get us up towards the $11,000 mark. Okay, or ultimately we'll carry back down to get us back into the $6,000 range if it is ultimately an impulsive wave. So let's take a little quick deeper dive into what is this wave up here tell us, what is its what's the structure, and what I'm having again kind of a hard time with this particular area here to make this a wave 1, because ultimately this would need to be a wave 1, come back for a 2, and then this would be a 3, 4, and a 5, and this would ultimately complete a 5-wave move right here within this area. But I can't. This one, it does break a lot of rules to make a 5-wave. Yes, I count a 5-wave move within here, but it looks a little bit more like a expanding triangle almost for a B wave, and that's somewhat what I'm leaning towards. So that one is going to be the hardest piece to look at, just because it, from an Elliott wave perspective, 3 right here, it would be the shortest wave, and it can't happen. That's that's one of the rules for Elliott wave. So that's really the invalidation and the struggling point for what I'm looking for. But outside of that, clean wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We have our 5-wave structure within the 3, with a really clean 5-wave move to get us back up here. So that would ultimately make this lean a little bit more towards a 3-wave corrective move up. Let's see, this is, in order for this to be a 3-wave corrective move, this would have to be a complex correction within here, probably similar to what I had on ETH. So if this was a 3-wave move up, and then this here, 3, C-wave down, and then another 3-wave, ultimately right there. So that's right here is really kind of the challenging piece, and I'm having a hard time getting around to make this overall a full, complete impulsive wave, because none of this right here is impulsive. This whole thing right here just comes off, very corrective in my opinion. So I thought I saw something that could potentially make it work, but I didn't see it. But so that's what the biggest thing that I have in my head get around to get this overall whole thing to be a wave, a whole 5-wave completed to start off the 5-wave run, and that's what I'm ultimately struggling with to get the strength out of it. But on the move down overall, looks pretty corrective. Don't see anything super impulsive. We've been banging our head on this trend line right here, and that's ultimately we got to try and get across. If you watch the ETH, it looked a little bit more bullish than what Bitcoin does here. This looks very 3-wave right here. Could make a 5-wave structure out of it, but right here it's not looking very promising to be a 5-wave structure for it to have confluence for a normal Elliott wave count. We still may pop up and test the CMA just like we did here, ultimately potentially get a rejection and come back down. But if this is the 3-wave structure back down to complete a 5-wave move up, if you watch the ETH, it is a lot cleaner to try and get another 5-wave move up out of this than what Bitcoin is. But ultimately, again, for I think it was 11,400 is where we would want to get up to. And if this is a 5-wave move, we would have to start it about right there. So 11,500 would be the 1.618. That would be to make this a wave one, which obviously it would need to come up here for a wave 5 for 12,453. Where does that put us? Let's repull this for the bull. Uh, 12,100, 12,700. So yeah, I mean, it would put us right there in that zone for a little bit of an extended fifth wave. Which, you know, if we really get going and we break new highs, it wouldn't surprise me if we, you know, get a little extra bullish and extend past that. So that is a potential to look at if this does end up turning into something that is going to be a little bit more bullish. But just right here is what I'm having the hardest time to get past to make this overall 5 wave, which is, you know, it's coming off pretty, it looks corrective to me, which means we would need another really 5 wave move to the downside, because this whole thing started with 5, so it starts with 5 and needs to end with 5, whether it's an ABC or a 1 2 3 4 5 Elliott wave, to to move to the downside. Let's go ahead and just pull some fibs real quick, and see what if this was a 5 wave move. I think we did that again on the 4 hour. Let's go and take a look at it. So C wave would actually put us roughly right down there at the 69.29, and then back down towards 5,500 if this was a impulsive move for a 5 wave structure to come down. So that's what we're looking for, guys. That's ultimately, you know, really how we're going to know. If we kick off at that 5 wave, especially with where we are now. Right now, it's looking a little tough on Bitcoin at the moment. I'm not seeing that 5 wave structure come up. Let's look at the oscillators on the higher time frame. So 4 hour, still looking let's see, starting to curl up on the derivative oscillator. So starting to curl up, so losing some downward momentum. However, that can quickly change, just like we did here. It's not confirmed yet. We have the RSI, who did bounce off of the bearish control zone, and even on the composite index, you know, we bottomed out right here, which, you know, that gives a decent amount of power. But if you can see, our fast EMA and slow EMA are about to cross into the bullish, the bearish territory, which would indicate a little bit of a weaker trend. And for fun, let's just see what they're saying on here on the 12-hour and 16-hour. Yeah, 12 hours losing some power. Again, we bounced off of the slow moving EMA on the RSI. We did kind of cap out there. And if you did notice too, we did also have bearish divergence that did get confirmed, but would potentially say that it, you know, did play out with that move to the downside. Using the composite index, boom, boom. Had her hit it and continued bearish divergence on that guy. So the higher time frame, the 12-hour, it's not looking the most promising. Let's see, what's the 16-hour telling us? Yeah, same thing, losing power on the derivative oscillator. Bounced our head off the top of the bullish control zone. So we're trying to regain that support there. And we broke one of those EMAs on the composite index as well. And why not, while we're here, let's look at the daily. Daily looks like wants a little bit more to the upside, surprisingly. However, seeing that rejection right there on the bullish control zone on the RSI, even the kind of somewhat same thing here on the composite index, where we did just have the two EMAs cross as well. And so it looks like I can't sort of tell right on top of each other. It looks like they're about to cross on this one as well, so that could actually indicate a little bit further downside. So higher time frames are looking a little soft at the moment. Smaller time frames, 1 hour, a little bit of the 4 hour looks like it, potentially wants a little bit more to the upside. But the 12 hour really going up to the daily. Looks like it could, want a little bit more to the downside. So that's what I got, guys. Again, if you like my content, make sure you guys smash the likes and hit that little subscribe button, ring that little bell, and I hope to see you guys in the Discord.